So I have access to a lot of players. So I would just get a bunch of autographed merchandise, like the cards I was just telling you about. And we would tell people, text the word win to whatever our short code is. Man, we pick up 10,000, maybe 8 to 10,000 people every time we do that. And it's just giveaways or freebies.
The way you approach business now comes with a lot of perspective, right? You've done like the flashy things. You've made a lot of money. You've lost a lot of money, right? You've been on your deathbed, and here you are today. Yeah. So it brings you perspective. And so as you approach dugout mugs now, how are you approaching it, and what's your business model? And I think that's the unique aspect that I want to share with our listeners here, because most of our listeners are on Amazon, and Amazon's a cruel mistress, right? Yes, they can bring you lots of traffic, but guess what? You're going to have lots of copycats, lots of knockoffs. There's going to be margin compression as Amazon continues to increase their fees, right? You don't have contact information with your customers, so like your hands are somewhat tied behind your back. So people are trying to like do more of the things that you've been doing your entire career, Chris, which is like digital marketing, owning your customer list, and things like that. So maybe walk us through like what's your perspective now as you're building out dugout mugs? What are your revenue channels?
Well, we're on Shopify. So I've always believed, I always called it data harvesting, right? Like, how do I plant the seed, harvest the data, own the customer? And I mean, it's a much bigger conversation, and maybe we'll get into the whole thing. I don't know. I've always believed that how you do anything is how you do everything. And I value people and I value relationships in a very deep way. So when I look at my network, like literally next to me right now, Chris Sale, it's a baseball player. I got a stack of cards of his. I'm gonna get him autographed just so I can give them away to people, right? I have a huge box of cards over here for the Tampa Bay Rays because we go to the games and we just give them out to kids, right? Like, I want that to be who we are. Right. We have a very clear, and when you're in a product industry, especially in Amazon, right? I've never even really sold on Amazon. You know, we've done 70 million bucks and not really even on Amazon, which is crazy. But, you know, I feel like you get in the habit of just being a product in, product out. You know, there's no face to it. There's no passion. There's no barely customer service, probably AI, right? Whereas with us, you know, we built a brand, we built a culture. And that is what I believe people get behind, right? So back to the data harvesting part from the very beginning, because Dugout's like my 9th company, right? Like, so I've been through it before. I believed in like the Tripwire campaign. Like, for example, this thing here, it's a baseball bat slice that we turned into a keychain, okay, with the Phillies on, whatever. The cost of this is so insignificant, I can give it away for those who don't know what a Tripwire is. I presume many do. But we would trip them into the system. We collect the customer data. We treat them with respect and bring them live interviews from Wade Boggs or Pete Rose when he was here. Rest in peace. Rod Carew, you know, whatever. Like, we always bring content, value. But now I have 1 million customers. I got 1 million customers on an email list and SMS. We hit a button, we make money. Period. So then I can go out and start finding other products like this hat we got. We launched a new hat, Legends Never Die, with the Sandlot underneath it. So now when you have this massive audience, guess what? Push a button, make some money. So like, our strategy has always been internal, lean into our internal ecosystem, because the CAC, you know, pick your acronym, CPA, your cost to get a customer is going up, and it's just going to keep going up. Everybody's buying those eyeballs. So when you're internal, it allows you to have more margin, more runway, all the things. So that's kind of our strategy now. And it also gives us a lot of social proof and credibility. So with Dugout, we have 55,000 reviews, which you're on Amazon. You guys do stuff on Amazon, right? Like, so does everybody else. Like, 55,000 reviews is no joke, and our average is like 4.8 stars. We got a good product with good reviews, but you get that by having that relationship with people. I'd say a third of them talk about our customer service, right? So again, we've really built a good community and a good ecosystem and a good culture around the company, and then let it kind of go out from there. So from there, you can go to, last week we got 70 Hallmark stores. What are they going to say? Oh, this won't sell. It's like, yeah, it does. Well, what if people don't like it? Yeah, they kind of will, right? So it allowed us to like flip wholesale. It's reverse wholesale. We proved the concept by selling it here, and now we're going to. And I say this at trade shows. Now we're going to let other people sell our stuff. Powerful word. Hey, we're
Love
gonna do
that.
this and
Yeah.
this. We're 50 million in sales with this company. We're just going to let you sell it, right? We've established a high price point. Price integrity's there. Now we're going to let you sell it and make the money, so that we can keep doing what we do best. And we're like, okay. And we see probably a 50% conversion rate, which is wild. Because
That's massive.
that's in person. Like we found, and we could talk about this if anybody's interested. But the getting into trade shows and the gifting trade shows and the promotional trade shows, there's a lot of opportunity there, and even more so for us because we have a patented product, we have several patents, we have several trademarks. We're not going to get ripped off like some other companies do. In that case, it's even more important from a speed to market principle because if you claim that market share, you're going to get ripped off. It's inevitable, but you own the market, right? And that's a speed to market principle for sure.
Chris, this has been an awesome episode. As we wrap things up, I love to leave the audience with 3 actionable takeaways from every episode. So here are the actionable takeaways that I noted. You let me know if you think I need to add something else.
Okay.
Action item number 1 is focus on serving your customer and your audience, right? If you can imagine any of us listening to this, myself included, imagine having a raving fan base of 1 million people that can't wait for your next product to launch. When you devote as much time and energy as Chris does into his audience and the content, I mean, that is a full-time job, let's be real. Like thinking about, hey, how do I serve these people? What information can I send out to them? That's not just crap information just to check it off the box. It's information that's actually tangible and valuable for them. So that when the offer comes and they launch a new product, yes, there is a raving fan base that sits behind it. So that's action item number 1. Is wherever you're at today, the best time to start was yesterday. So start today and start building that raving fan base and that audience, even if that means you're starting with 1 person, and start serving them. And that will compound and grow over time.
So to touch on that, I think you're right. I think it's understand your audience before you can serve them. You got to understand your audience before you can serve them. And you have to have a long-term vision of things because nothing worth having is going to be immediate. It's a long-term play because that's what will sustain.
Yeah, I love that and wholeheartedly agree. Action item number 2 is being able to think creatively and come up with your new product ideas based off of, again, going back to the audience and listening to them, understanding what it is that they are looking for. So let's say the majority of your customers are 42-year-old women, okay? Who are they giving the gifts to? Is it for men? Okay, survey them, ask them, what other type of gifts do you feel like we're missing, right? That would make your life easier, right? Is it hats and give them some options, right? And see what it is that could benefit them most, and then be creative. Look at the waste and inefficiencies. You talked about the Christmas ornaments with the bats and leftover waste. It's being creative about thinking of ways that can create future revenue in the business. I love the analogy of like, what are you doing today to plant a seed that you will harvest the fruit of that seed 9 to 12 to 18 months from now? That's where that long-term vision comes into play. But that also you have to ask yourself the question, like, is me working through my email inbox and getting to email inbox 0 today planting a seed that I'll harvest in 12 months? Or is this just busy work that's keeping me busy and frustrated in my business possibly just to check it off my list?
Yep.
Okay. So prioritization. My third and final action item is, I think, living with perspective, right? And I think it is not getting caught in the thick of thin things. And based off of your experience and numerous entrepreneurs that I've spoken to, so many people look, the best analogy and the best like future framing you can do is imagine yourself as an 85-year-old person. Guess what? That 85-year-old person doesn't care about what other people think of them. That 85-year-old cares about the impact, the people they've surrounded themselves with, the amount of lives that they've touched, their family, right? That's what they care about. So start behaving that way today. If at 85, you're not going to care about how much money is sitting in your bank account because it's all going to go back into that current, as you talked about, when you're all gone, then what are you doing today that's going to make your 85-year-old self say, good, I did a good job, I'm fulfilled. And when you live that way, you won't get to an 85-year-old person and be living full of regrets, saying, I wish I would have spent more time with my kids.
Yep. What's that funny saying? Be the person your dog thinks you are.
I love that too.
Or your kids, you know?
Yep. Totally agree.
You know, are you being somebody that your kids are proud of?
It's true. So true. Chris, as we wrap things up, 3 questions for every guest. Here's question number 1 for you. What's been the most influential book that you've read and why?
Pass. No, I'm kidding. Somebody gave me a really cool perspective on books, and I'll keep it quick. And that was, books are like friends. Like if you had the 10 biggest thought leaders of all time as a friends group, and you're like, oh, I'm dealing with a relationship problem, or I'm dealing with a money problem, or I'm dealing with a health problem, and you could go ask the Dalai Lama something, right? You would do that. And what was interesting perspective about books, he's like, books are like friends. You don't need to read front to back just so you can check that off your list. Figure out which problem you're dealing with, which problem you're trying to address. Go pull that friend off the shelf, address that problem, put it into action, and then put the book away. I thought that was interesting, right? Somebody's resonates with that.
That's I love that frame.
Yeah. And so I you know me a bit. 4-Hour Work Week, really, I enjoyed that. And then Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I think was a pretty cool one too. And then The One Thing by Gary Keller. You know, what's the one thing that you could focus on that makes everything else irrelevant? But I think those kind of sum up me a little bit. I listen to books a little bit more recently. Again, exactly what I just said at the beginning. More recently, I'm listening to like, how do I not, or what is it? It was right next to me. I'll show you right here. Hold On to Your Kids. Strong Father, Strong Daughter. Like these are the books that I'm interested in now because that's the stage in my life in which I'm paying attention to. So
good words of wisdom. All right. Question number 2. What's your favorite AI tool or ChatGPT prompt that you've been using?
Find the red flags, and I upload contracts. Love it. Somebody sends you a 25-page contract. I used to have an attorney as a business partner, and he said, the longer a contract is, that just means there's more ways they're trying to screw you. Straight from the 40-year business attorney. And so what I do now is whenever I get contracts, I send them over, I upload it to like Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. I'm like, find the red flags. And it comes back with, hey, this section, this thing is leaning in their favor. This thing over here doesn't make sense. This conflicts with this paragraph. I've loved that, right? Because you know how just monotonous those damn things are. You're going through a contract, 25 pages long. So what was funny is I had one that came over from a licensing partner and said, here, sign this. I ran it through the thing and I said, hey, find the red flags. I didn't even have time to read it. And it gave me like 5 things and I just copied and pasted and sent it back to him. I was like, hey, I noticed these. Can you explain a little bit? And they changed them all in my favor and sent it back. I was like, dude, that was too easy. But find the red flags, I think, is a pretty cool one.
Love that. That's a great use case. All right, final question here, Chris. Who is somebody that you admire or respect the most in the e-commerce space that other people should be following and why?
Kind of back to the books thing, man. Like I love Gary Vee, right? I like Gary's approach at things. I think he's very sharp. But the grind and the hustle mentality, that's not me. So I would go to that influencer to get that influence. Just like our mastermind, there's several people in the mastermind. Some I really admire for their family values and who they are. Some I really value their negotiation and deal making skills. So I go to certain influencers based on the influence they have, if that makes sense. So I do like Gary. He and I have some similarities and some understanding. Jesse Itzler, he's not like Ecomm necessarily. Matt and Tanner are great dudes. There's a ton, man.
Yeah.
It's to each his own. To each his own. If you want somebody that's faith-based, you can find him. If you want somebody that's grind hustle, you can find him. If you want somebody that's captain outsource, you can find him. But me, if I had to pick one, probably Gary.
Yeah. Love it. Another good recommendation. Chris, if people want to learn more about you, they want to follow your journey, check out your cool dugout mugs, where can they find you at?
It's dugoutmugs.com. You can't miss it. We're the only ones, and we're doing it. We're doing the hell out of it. So you can find us there. Big Golf. That's my newer venture. A lot of fun with Big Golf. BIGG Golf. And then LinkedIn. All my socials are private. I don't need the following. I don't need the accolades. I don't need the social proof and credibility anymore. I don't want it. LinkedIn, I know there's a little bit more business related people there, and obviously the folks on this call probably are over there. So LinkedIn is going to be your best bet. Can't miss me. I'm the only one.
Awesome. Chris, been a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for your time today.
Man. My pleasure. I hope everybody has an amazing day, and be good.
Thank you for listening. Visit ecommbreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.